any other command it will look under the file system stuff. rm, of course, it is better to forget that command. So rm-rf rmdir. Any questions on these?
No, sir.
Okay. The next topic we have is file system permissions. Okay. So before I explain you this, when I say ls-l, what did I tell you? You get this is one column, this is another column, this is another column. Indirectly when I say ls-l, okay. So you see bunch of files. You talk about any of these files long listing. You see here permissions, number of symbolic links that exist to this file, owner, group, size, when it was last created or modified, the file name. Okay. If I go to my home directory, clear is a command to clear, right? If I create a directory here called permissions, if I touch A, right? Here you need to understand these first 10 characters. This is of course a sticky bit. The first 10 characters. The first character specify, right? The first character specifies what kind of a file we are working on. What kind of a file we are working on. What do we mean by what kind of a file? We looked at those three types of files, right? What are those three types? Ordinary, directory, and special file.
Directory, special files.
Special file. Now the next three characters specify what kind of a permissions a owner has on this file. Who is the owner of this file? db2inst1, right? Who is the owner of this file? db2inst1. Now what kind of a permissions db2inst1 has on this file is R stands for read, W stands for write. Now first of all, what all of permissions someone can have is read, write, and execute. Now if I want to see contents of a file, I need to have a read permission. Okay. If I need a permission to write something, I need a write permission. Okay. If I want to execute something, execute in the sense if I want to execute a shell script, if I want to enter inside a directory, I need execute permission. Now, how do I represent this is R, W, and execute. Now, you can refer this as a 4, 2, and 1. Unix treats read as a 4, write as a 2, and execute as a 1. The first three characters here specify the permissions owner has, right? I don't just work alone, right? If I join a company, I am part of a specific team. Let's say I'm part of an Informatica team. These are the permissions I have, but I am part of an Informatica group. People in my group can also see what I do. So what permissions people in my group have? What rest of the people have? For example, if I am joined like for example like IBM, I joined Informatica team. But not only Informatica team exists in IBM, right? There are a bunch of other teams also exist. For example, OBIE team also there. For example, Exadata team is there, and Oracle team is there. But this guy sits here. Who? Kaushik sits here. Now when Kaushik creates a file, what permissions Kaushik has? Right, owner permissions. Now
And
what
grant
permissions?
permissions.
Yeah, Informix team has, because Kaushik belongs to Informatica. Sorry, Informatica. Group permissions. Rest of the groups, what people have. So these things you represent with. So if I specify read, write, execute here, if I specify only read, that means the owner has read, write, execute, all three permissions. Now group has only read. People out of the group has only read. Is it okay? Are we good so far?
Sir.
Here if I copy this file, what permissions someone has on the A is, this is a normal file. But owner has only read and write, owner does not have execute. But these guys have read, write, not execute. Read, write, only read. You see what I'm saying? Now if I have to change, or if I want to take out this write permission, okay, you need to understand this numbering concept. Read is represented as 4, write 2, execute as a 0. 4, write 2, execute as a 0. 4, 0, 0. The sum is coming as 6, 6 and 4. That means indirectly the permissions that are available on this A file is 664. Now if I want to give only permissions of read, write, but I want to give owner execute permission, but I have to take out write permission from this guy, I have to specify here 4, 2, 1, only 4, 0, 0, 4, 0, 0. That means I have to specify 7, 4 and 4. If I specify using a command called change mode 744A, if I run this command, change mode is a command which will help me to change the permissions of a file. 7 means I'll get read, write, execute. 4 means group will see only read. You see how it changed from write to hyphen here. Okay, you see what I'm saying? This is a very important concept, man, because this is a confusing one too. In Unix, the most of the security at a file or a folder level is maintained through these permissions. I mean, I'm directly restricting, man. Who can see my file? These guys can only read it. What is this dot is? Dots is a sticky bit. What is this sticky bit is, even though I have a write permission, if I have a sticky bit set on this A, okay, it will avoid me deleting this file unintentionally. Even if I am trying to delete this file, I cannot, because sticky bit is set. I mean, I can remove it, but people who have a write permission other than me cannot do.
But you can modify the file, right?
Yeah, you can modify. You have a write permission.
Okay.
But only thing is, you don't have permission to remove it if I set this sticky bit.
Okay.
So in short, there are 10 major options. First option, specify type of a file, what permissions you have, what permissions people in your group has, what permissions people, rest of the people has. you can simply say change mod plus group. Oh, I kind of pan to this number kind of a changing only. When I say 777A, I won't get all permissions. This is the most riskiest thing. Okay, there is some way of doing it, another way of doing it. If I want to change mod group plus I want to give only read A, no, there is another way. Change mod, let I noted here, because that's not something that I favor mostly, but even people still use that. I thought I had noted here. No. Okay, let's try it. Anyway, we have a man command, right? Why to worry about it? Without numbers also you can modify just by specifying hyphen O for owner, G for group. Let me try one more time. I did not find there. Change mod hyphen G plus R. I'm close here, but I'm missing something. There you go. See, here I have read permission, but my group has write permission and others have write permission, so I should get a write permission too. So I can specify here change mod 744A. Now this will give me a permission that read, write, execute, read hyphen hyphen, read hyphen hyphen. This will give me that permission like that. But I can also change my permissions of a owner, saying O for owner plus read, write, execute. When I specify this, so owner for others, O for others, G for group, then what is for me? User plus U. If I want to change only for owner permission, I can say U, and group is G, and X is O. No, O is for others. Now let me start from scratch again. I touched a file here B, right? By default, what permissions B has? Read, write, read, write, read. So read, write is 6. So let me put it in a notepad. So read, write is 4, write is 2, 4, 2, 4, 0, 0, 4 hyphen hyphen. That means I have by default 6, 6 and 4. But I want to take out write permission from even my group people because I am working on something confidential. I don't want even my Informatica group to see them. How can I take out that? There are two options. The command is of course change mode. You can simply say that I want 6 for me, but I want to give only 4, that is read. I have to keep 4 for others. This is one way of changing it. Or you can simply say for group only give read permission. It actually touches all options, but this guy only touches directly group. So when I run this like this, for group only plus read. No, it did not modify. So minus W, I'm taking out the W here. Sorry. Plus read is already there for this guy, right? So it's not plus is just adding. So when I say minus W, it actually take out this W. So see, in my opinion, this is a confusing thing for me. Right? The safest thing that I play around this is with numbers, because these are very easy to remember. Like when I say 4, 2 and 1. 4 is for read, this is for write, this is for execute. So this is 4 is nothing but 2 raised to 2, 2 power 2, right? 2 power 1 and 2 power 0. So I mean, if you want to play around these options, just go ahead and do it, but you have to be very sure of what you are doing. Plus R adds the read permission, minus W takes out the write permission. U for user, G for group, and O for others. If you want to add something, plus R or minus write, it's up to you how do you want to do it. So the other way of is any questions on these file permissions?
No, sir.
Commands we have is change group and change owner. Okay. Once in a while, we might have to change the ownership of a files.